In a medical malpractice case in New York, when I have an opportunity to question the doctor whom you have sued during a pretrial question and answer session known as a deposition, why would I ask the doctor what was the standard of care at that time? You want to know why I would ask such a question? Come join me for a moment as I share with you some remarkable information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. All right, so you sued your doctor claiming that he violated the basic standards of medical care, causing you significant harm and injury. And the only way we were able to proceed forward with your case was to get a medical expert to confirm that, number one, your doctor was careless, number two, that his carelessness was a cause of your injury, and number three, that your injuries are significant and or permanent. That's the only way we can proceed forward. So now, during the course of your lawsuit, I will have an opportunity to actually question the doctor about what he did and why he did it. Now, this takes place in his attorney's office, in his conference room. And guess what? There's no judge there. There's no jury there. So what is this thing? It's an opportunity for me to question the doctor under oath, and all of my questions and all of the doctor's answers are now recorded by a court stenographer. We also call them a court reporter. And that information gets transcribed and put into a booklet known as a transcript. Now, you should know something very interesting. The answers that the doctor gives me really is his sworn testimony. And that carries the same exact weight as if he were testifying at trial in front of a jury, in front of a judge. So even though this is taking place in the attorney's conference room and is somewhat casual and informal, guess what? Everything that I ask the doctor and everything that he answers represents his sworn testimony. But now let's go back to the question I raised in the title of this video. Why would I ask the doctor what was the standard of care for your particular problem? There's a key reason why I want to ask the doctor what was the standard of care. Because I want to establish the baseline for what was appropriate treatment. Now, you might be thinking, why would I ask the doctor whom you have sued what was the standard of care? Isn't he going to tell me his own best self-serving interests, what he believes was the standard of care, even though it may be wrong? The answer is yes, he will. He's going to give me information that he believes to be the standard of medical care for your particular condition. So again, why would I ask such a question, and why would the doctor give me the answer to that question? Because it's a proper question to ask. I want to establish the baseline of what he believes was appropriate medical care for your condition. Later on, I'll ask him about his particular treatment and whether or not his treatment conformed to the standard of care. And you should know that when we go to trial, when or if we go to trial, our medical expert will have a chance to review the doctor's answers to my questions. And now he'll be able to see whether or not the doctor's answer about the standard of care was appropriate. So now there are instances where the doctor will give me an answer about the standard of care, which is so incorrect that now it becomes almost like a no-brainer, where my expert can come into court and tell the jury, listen, this doctor's answer about what the standard of care was is so off the wall, it's ridiculous. That wasn't the standard of care at that time. And now there are clear disputes between the different doctors who are going to be testifying. And it will be up to the jury to come to a conclusion about which expert they believe. Now, there's another reason why I want to ask the doctor whom you have sued, what was the standard of care? Because later on during this question and answer session, I will ask him about the particular treatment that he rendered to you. And now I'm going to be asking him hypothetical questions. Doctor, would you agree that in a patient who presents with A, B, and C, good medical care required that you do the following things? True or false? And now, assuming our facts to be true, he has to answer in the affirmative, yes, that's exactly what good standard of care required. And would you agree that a physician who failed to do A, B, and C in light of the facts as I've described them to you would be a departure from the standard of care? True? Now, the doctor will not want to willingly or voluntarily answer such a question, but his attorney, over objection, will tell him he's got to answer the question. Now, ultimately, at trial, it will be up to the jury to decide which version of the events, which version of the facts they believe. And the key reason why I want to ask about the standard of care and about hypothetical questions using our version of the facts is because if the jury at trial now believes our version of the facts, I can simply go back to that pretrial testimony, the answers that the doctor gave, and said, yes, in that circumstance, it would be a departure from the standard of care not to do A, B, and C, or not to do X, Y, and Z. Now I have the doctor's own words telling the jury what was appropriate and what was not appropriate. So those are some of the key reasons why I want to ask the doctor about the standard of care in your particular case. So why do I share this great information with you? I share it with you just to give you a sense of what really happens in these medical malpractice cases here in New York. You know, I do recognize and I understand you're likely watching this because you have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York and you have not yet started a lawsuit, but are thinking of doing so, but still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day and I'd love to chat with you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.